Have we ever considered that the nature of life that we see is actually the nature of ourselves? And if we change our nature, we'll see the nature of life change. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Christina and we're back for a weekly intuitive reading for the collective with the Earth Magic cards. And we're keeping it cash this week because it's a moment called for slowing down, staying in your bathrobe, feeling as comfortable as possible. And yeah, I didn't want to do the whole production today. So this is where we're at. I took out the cards that we've already seen. So we're working with this much smaller deck, but for sure we haven't seen these cards. I mean, fingers crossed, that's what I'm hoping. But so let's see what the cards open up, or really that we open up, because that's the thing about life and the nature of life, is that everything is so specific. So if you find yourself sitting here listening, then there's something very specific for you here. Or even the realization of like, I don't resonate with this is specific for you and you can move on. But every moment you have an opportunity to hear yourself and to see yourself and to make a decision about yourself. And so it's kind of cool from that perspective that like, really, it's not just me, you know, pulling a card and having a reading. That there's a lot of people and attention and energy that is adding to this reading and co-creating it, essentially. So thanks for being here. And let's get our card here. This word has been my word today. Oh my god, it's so funny. This is the word. Wind. This is the card, wind, activation. What's coming up is the word force, but it's like your force, your power, your ability to move, and what kind of ripples and waves that sets into motion. So this is that point of self, the power of self in the decision to move oneself, and how that influences and affects everything around us. And actually, as I'm looking at this card, so there's like this big being in the sky blowing the wind, but then here you see this shape down here. I think that's just clouds, but to me it looks like a little person. Actually, it looks like a human. It looks like someone looking up at the wind. And actually what that brings up for me is that point of this is our human awareness. This is the human personality. This is the human in us that believes that we're just this thing on this planet coexisting here, and like we don't really have any awareness beyond that. We've just kind of been very limited in the belief that this world is normal, like who we are, and this like not knowing who we are is normal, and you know, us trying to figure out who we are, like that's normal, when in truth this is who we really are. You could call this like the higher self. This is the point of awareness. This is the point of self as like the true being, which is like actually one and equal with the environment, with the wind, with the element, with the earths. But it's like this is that little human that doesn't realize how big it really is. And so I love that. I love that activation. And so yeah, what this is too, wind is like a movement also, a pushing and a movement. And this is like that point of initiating that point of awareness, because I tell you what, we are on the planet at a very unique time. People have called it ascension. People have called it the end of the world, the apocalypse. Other people have called it end times. Like there's so many ways to describe where we're at, but truly all it is a remembering, an awareness, a waking up, if you will, because we have been in a deep slumber of forgetfulness and not knowing who we are. And, you know, part of me thinks that that was the point. I mean, imagine being an eternal, infinite being that is always here, ever present, all knowing. You know, what's the point? Maybe there was some aspect that wanted to experience itself for the first time again, from something new, from a new perspective, from a new experience, in a contrasting, environment. Who knows? I don't know. But I'm saying that I do have a point within me that suggests there is more, and that's not a suggestion, that's an obvious. There's more to us in terms of our awareness and who we are. And, we've been kind of playing this role of the small, little feeble human. But truly who we are is Christ-like. I mean, Jesus had such an impact in this world in terms of, look at how much he influences, or his life or his message or his teachings influence the world today. And what he was just an embodiment of our utmost potential, in terms of his message and his abilities and his awareness of himself and his relationship to life. And so that's another point here, is this point of, okay, we are the human, but then there's also this greater aspect of ourselves that maybe we don't have the awareness of yet, but that we actually can have a relationship with. And from that perspective, it's like the child-parent relationship where, this card is just full. There's so many ways to look at this. But that child-parent, this is how I experienced life. When I started coming into realization of myself and who I am and my relationship with myself, and so with life, I was seeing this point of life was this grander or greater perspective that actually was like a parent and wanted to take care of me and wanted to give me what I needed and wanted to care for me. And it was this point of that is what I started to really lean into and to trust and to listen to, because I just couldn't not to listen. And since having my son Phoenix, obviously it's really kind of opened my eyes to that parent-child relationship, and how, I'm learning how to be a better human being by supporting my son in his development. Right now we're learning how to co-regulate feelings, and, he goes into his emotions, and, it's learning how to process those and how to deal with those. And as I want to support him to not be overwhelmed or react to his experiences, and the tools that I'm giving him to, utilize in these moments, I'm actually applying within my own self, realizing I was that little baby. And did I ever learn properly these tools of self-regulation and how to cope and deal with my experiences in a way that's actually beneficial? How did I actually learn that? So it's as I'm teaching Phoenix this, I'm learning this myself, to be patient with myself, to be stable with myself when I go into these reactions, when I become overwhelmed, when I start throwing tantrums, to slow down and to be that stable point for myself and be okay, what are my tools here? I can breathe. I can, accept that this is the reality of it, how something is, and I don't like it and I want it to be different, but it is the way it is. There's all sorts of things that we can do to support ourselves. And so anyways, this card also brings up that point of the relationship that we have with life is truly a reflection of how we relate to ourselves. And if your relationship with life is not one of unconditional trust, and I want to say certainty, but it's not certain in knowing, but it's certainty in you as life, and so what life is, the nature of life. And maybe that's even the point, is have we ever considered that the nature of life that we see is actually the nature of ourselves, and if we change our nature, we'll see the nature of life change. There's a lot of dimensions here, okay? This is like a seed that's just cracked open and all the information is just coming out. So I apologize if it seems a little bit all over the place, but that's kind of what wind does too, right? It blows and it fucking pushes things around and it moves things. And so, going with the flow, also trusting that whatever is here and whatever needs to be expressed is being expressed. But I think the main point for me is that point of the relationship with life, and learning and developing for me how to trust life, and really knowing, because I know myself, I know life because I am life. And so it's really trusting and leaning into that point within me that says I do see what life is, and I do know what life is, and I know how I want to express myself as life, and so I know how life wants to be expressed. And so it's just really leaning into, or trust falling back into that point of I'm going to trust myself, and I'm going to trust life, and I'm going to trust what I see, and I'm going to trust what I feel, and I'm just going to go for it. In terms of like living what is best for me, that this point here I want to open up a whole other dimension as like a side note or cliff notes, I don't know. Because as I say that, I can see how people could use that and misinterpret it and abuse with it. And that's not what I'm saying. Nothing I say on my channel, I have to do a preface video. Nothing that says on my channel, nothing I say or share on my channel is ever to justify or validate someone imposing their will on someone else. So you know what, look out for on my channel for some videos to come, because I'm going to do a preface video and I'm going to do a disclaimer about this, because I think it's important that people understand that I am an advocate for free will and free choice and freedom in expression and freedom to be self-expressive as you like and as it feels good to you and as it feels right to you. But I'm also an advocate of not imposing your will on other people. You can't impose your will on other people. If someone doesn't want you around and doesn't want you to enforce yourself on them and doesn't want you in their space, respect them. Respect them. This is a long story, kind of where this is coming from, so perhaps I'll open this up in time, but I just wanted to say that, like, I think that, you know, the relationship that we have in life is very important, but we as life also have to take responsibility for who we are and how we express and how that influences other people. And if people are suggesting that the way that we're expressing is causing them harm, or they're uncomfortable with it, or they feel like we're entering their space without their permission, then we need to stop. But that's why I love this channel and I'm able to share and support people from here, because if you don't resonate with my message, fine, you don't have to be here. And I'm not wanting to go around and impose this on anyone. I just like to share my perspective and my journey and my process of realization to support other people. And it supports me too, because I'm integrating everything that I'm learning and practicing and understanding and realizing. And so again, I know there's a lot here. We're kind of, you know, what was it? Yesterday or the day before, there was some very like key signifiers that suggested we were at the start of a new cycle. And I won't tell you all the ways in which it was pretty clear, but it was pretty clear we're in a new phase, we're in a new cycle. And it's exciting, but it's also like, okay, new points are here now. How are they gonna like kind of settle and land? You know, it's kind of like a new point has opened up, and so you're walking into a new space. And so now it's like, okay, well, who am I in this? Where am I? Okay, I have all this information to work with. Where is my pillar? Where's my feet on the ground type of thing. So I do apologize if it seems like this video is a little bit all over the place, but it is what it is. It's like the wind. It blows and it activates and it pushes and it moves things around, which is important. We want things to be moved around, because, you know, if we're all just staying in the same place, we're just stagnant water, and you know what that breeds. So it's good to have things moving. I also see a big whale here, a face of a whale. I don't know if you see that. But that's fun, a big whale. Oh, it's so cute. He's like a big beluga whale with his little eye and his tongue. Oh my god, how cute. Okay, let's do the book definition, because who knows where this reading is going. Okay, so the book says, the various currents of air that circulate on our planet can be gentle enough to tickle the hairs on our arms, or so fierce that they destroy man-made structures, as well as trees and other vegetation. Wind moves the air to circulate the atmosphere and keep it from becoming stagnant. There's that word. When there's no movement, the atmosphere feels somehow heavier. Gentle breezes help cool the land and pollinate flowers, whereas more tempestuous winds can snap tree branches off and stir something deeply within us. More violent winds can create temporary chaos with their ferocity. No matter the degree of intensity, wind will activate us. In this image, the breath of the god of wind stirs the sea and rearranges the sky. As this occurs, the weather shifts. The effects, even in the small area, send ripples throughout, blending and dancing with the water and the sky. It activates the atmosphere and the world feels more alive when there is wind. The lethargy you feel is a result of a lack of activation. In other words, something that stirs your senses. This could be anything from walking outdoors, feeling the breeze on your body, or inhaling the different aromas that nature herself provides. Or it could be finding the pleasures in a warm bath that helps you release the tension and stress from your mind and body. Music may activate your hearing, which sparks the pleasure centers in your brain. Art may activate your emotional response. The touch of another human may activate a deep need to be physically held in some manner once again. Now is the time for action. Engage in some activity to be fully present so that you forget about your surroundings and enter into that timeless and multidimensional experience of union with the focus of your creative attention. Let your physical body be active. Movement alone, whether quietly dancing by yourself or hiking up the hill you over yonder, will require you to be as present as possible in your body. Enjoy. This is a great point. And it actually reminds me of like what initiated this whole almost 2 years ago, a year and a half ago, I came to what I recognize as an awakening, which was not my first one in my life. But I didn't think you had more than one awakening. So I was pretty shocked. And what it was a literal coming alive. And I guess another word for that is activation. I literally came alive. And what played a big role in that was seeing another example of someone letting themselves go and no longer holding back and like unleashing a little bit. And also music played a huge role in that. When I activated and became like aware of myself and like started coming alive, I realized how fucking dead I was. For the last 13 years, I was a fucking zombie walking around. Like, yes, I was doing the work. I was doing a lot of internal work. I was creating a lot of stability in my life, and I'm so grateful for that process. But I also realized that enough was enough. I was done now, because what I was doing was I was keeping myself in this very specific structured box that allowed for no creativity or movement or expansion or expression or fucking flowers and color and joy. I was like very much keeping myself in this like monotone experience, and that's not me. So when I became activated or came alive or had my awakening, it was like a fucking breath of fresh air, and it was like the wind kicked up and the sun came out, and all of a sudden I was fucking alive, and I felt myself alive, and I started getting into my body, and I started like doing things I liked and enjoyed, and oh my god, it was the most incredible experience. And I've been on a journey with that since, and I'm so fucking grateful because I love myself and my life more than I ever have today. And so I definitely encourage you to do things outside of your normal routine to trigger yourself into an awakening, because truly we have become a world of zombies where we're just working this 9 to 5 fucking day in and day out, doing the same thing over and over, like not really taking risks, not really putting ourselves out there, not really wanting to connect with people, not wanting to face our fears, not wanting to be vulnerable, not willing to put ourselves out there. Like, it's a sad state of affairs when you see what humanity has become, because most of us are living in so much fucking fear. And it's like, you got to face your fears to really like get beyond and step into what is possible, because that is where I am now. I'm in this world of possibility where anything is fucking possible for me. Anything is possible for me. And I really truly believe that. And that's what keeps me moving, because I'm like, fuck, I'm alive. I get to live, and I have an opportunity to do whatever the fuck I want and live my utmost potential. And I'm so excited to do that and to be here and to show others how to do that. And that truly is what motivates me every week to be here, and to like share myself, because I want people to feel how empowered I feel. And I was going to suggest this actually anyway, is what are you doing? Can you do anything that gets you outside of your routine, that puts you in a new environment, around new people, facing some fears, feeling uncomfortable? Because that is truly where you're growing. That's where you get to see who you are outside of what you're comfortable with, Growth is outside of your comfort zone. We've all heard this cliche. It's so fucking true. That's why it's a cliche. So I encourage you to step out of your box and to see what more can you do to like shift your life and activate some life inside of you, because life is meant to be lived. It's not meant to be coasting. You know, it's not meant to be like safe and stable and secure. We're here to fucking send some shockwaves into this world. You know, we're here to wake up fucking everybody. Like hello people, look at where we are. Look at what is happening. We are life and we have so much potential here and we have a lot we can do and a lot to clean up, and it's like, let's go. But the people that, you know, are here to kind of lead the way, you know, they have to be willing to send some shocks into this world and to, not just sit by idly and just, you know, maintain the status quo. So that's what I have to share. Very cool. Thanks for being here. If you have anything to share, any perspective, I would love to hear from you. And like I said, look out for some videos coming up this week because I need to set some things straight in terms of the space I'm creating and what I mean when I say I believe that people are free to choose their life how they want and how they desire, and I believe in free choice and free will. And so I'm just going to clarify what I mean there, because I don't believe in fucking abuse, and I don't believe that people have a right to impose themselves on other people. That shit's got to end. So, okay. Thanks for walking with. See you next week.